Hello, this is Michael from Blue Gem Tarot. Today's pick a card reading is going to be called People's Plots on You. This is going to be a timeless pick a card reading. It will also include anchor points in it, so that means in the beginning of the read I'm gonna be talking about the general plots and let's say plans. When I say plots, you should know that this is talking about what people have in mind relative to you, just to clarify. But plots usually, and in comparison to plans as an energy, of the word, it feels like the plot is a much more stubborn and also more calculated structure, intellectual structure that people would build or would have in their mind relative to you. So I thought that plans wouldn't be as interesting as going into the plots, because plots usually involve, let's say, a more personal agenda and a more intricate one at that as well. So the first phase is going to talk about the general energy that surrounds you in that way, in that direction. The second part, however, is going to focus on two dominant plots or two dominant branches of that title. It's going to be split in the following way. One card will be about the plot itself. It will be clarified by the type or the clarification card. It will be the type, or it will clarify the plot itself so I can properly channel what's going on. Then we have the reasons, or the why this plot even occurred in the first place. And then I added this one and I really love it. It's the magnitude. The magnitude is going to, it's self-explanatory, assess and measure the intensity in which someone thinks or plots something in your regard. So I want to say right off the start, I know some cards from each pile. I've taken some pictures. I will begin channeling the message, and it's very, very unexpected. Like, what I've seen there is very fantastically unexpected. I love it. It's going to be very interesting. I hope you find it interesting as well as I did. Okay, for the pile selections, we have three as usual, because I like to channel three piles. It's much more convenient than four. It takes more energy to channel four, and I really want to focus on the quality, so we have three as usual. We have the first pile linked to this earring that reminds me sometimes of a moon. Second pile has this earring which is round, and third pile has this silverish earring. Okay. Take your time and pick your pile. You can choose multiple if you want. Remember to watch out if it resonates with you and don't make it fit for you if it doesn't. You can also, like some people do that, I've heard that they can pick information selectively that resonates with them from multiple different piles. So if that entertains you, then go for it. And if you don't agree with something I've channeled or I've said into the reading, that's no problem for me, or it doesn't have to be a problem for you. You just have to disregard it, or if you find something triggering, then I'm sorry, this is not my intention. This is just a relay for information. I'm just a messenger of sorts, and I'm just channeling stuff. So if you don't agree with them, that's completely fine. My readings are not gender specific. However, if you find yourself in a reading where I could refer to a female, male, or masculine or feminine, you can take those however they resonate with you, and you can even switch them if that's necessary, or if that's something that you really want. Timeless reading means it's relevant whenever it finds you, okay? I would like to express my deepest gratitude for all of your support. I've received a ton of comments and a ton of positive ones. Like, I really, really enjoy reading those. Thank you so much for taking the time to actually write to me. I cannot get back to all of them immediately, but I try my best to read them and mark them with a heart so that you can know I've been there, and I will get back to the older ones I haven't managed to read. Also, thank you so much for the donations. I remember like I woke up in the morning and I was bombarded with messages, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on. And then I saw the donations, like, this is insane. Like when I received them, it's like, yeah, one thing is like the financial gratification, or like the gratitude you feel like when someone supports you. The second, however, it's the moment you read the comment, and this is regardless of donation or not, but when people express that it resonates or it helped them, or they feel like very happy about it, like this is the sweetest part of all of them. If I read that and I find it, it means like finally like my mission is accomplished, and I really love the ones that take their time to express it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a 6 minute intro. This is the longest of all, I guess, I've made so far. Okay, let's begin with pile number 1, and I hope you're prepared because this is going to be very exciting. Okay, let's go to pile number 1. Okay. I want to say we have in here, this was not my intention from the start, but we have elements of a romantic message coming through. I also want to clarify that I hate, or not really hate, but dislike the style where people talk about exes or the usual stuff that you find, which I can at some point or sometimes enjoy, but I feel like this is becoming a cliche in the tarot community. Not to say that, again, I'm judging. This is only pertaining to the way in which I'm going to read. So, most likely I'm not gonna say whether it's an X or not, but you have to check in with yourself to see if this is the case. Now let's go into the central part of the reading, which is going to be represented by the Get Grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. And I also took this card. It was actually in reverse. I wanted to keep it in the upright. It being surrounded by security, intimacy, morals, the missing, and reversed empowerment. Now, this fascinates me, okay, and why this is very exciting for this pile is because we have intimacy. With plots, this is definitely someone with very fuzzy romantic love feelings for you, especially it being intimacy. Well, it feels like, I don't know, maybe this pile is not necessarily seeking this or ready for this, because with Get Grounded in reverse, it could mean that you are focused on something else right now, or you could have felt, or you could feel right now overwhelmed, you know. This card reminds me of also, some of you will resonate with the idea of being very sensitive, highly sensitive, on the spectrum of feeling and understanding everything that's going on around you. I want to say there is an energy of with the intimacy and security, as though someone, and you'll find this whether it's past or not, but someone wants to establish or re-establish a secure interaction between you two. Okay, so almost with the morals card, it's almost as if it's a plot that pertains to the domain of their morals or reestablishment of some sort of moral order. So if your person, or if you know that someone around you is dealing or valuing morality or moral principles, or they feel like they've wronged you, okay, so if that's the case, there is a huge yearning and desire of it being filtered through a plot, of them wanting to, and I hate to say it again, reconcile feels like such a clingy and cliche word. I've heard this so many times, but they want to re-establish some sort of even connection of sorts, and with the empowerment in reverse, it being so, it's like this person is not able to do that, okay? Also, with the missing, it's obvious. This is going to be about people as well. People miss you, and I want to say miss you in your energy is very, very valuable. Okay. Not in vain we have this central card with get grounded, and we have a person in the center and a lot of roses surrounded, the person being surrounded by so many roses. It feels like people's plots are to make you hang out in their presence more. If this is going to be about your person, this is also the case. With security, it's like people want to establish a secure connection and regularity of you being out there. Okay, so the plots are about securing a very consistent connection with you. With intimacy also, this doesn't have to mean that it's only in regards to SUL stuff. No, this can be also about getting to know you better. So you have people in here wanting to genuinely secure a long-term, consistent interaction and connection with you, with the note or with the additional information of them wanting to be intimate. It can mean that they want to get to know you better. Now, I feel like this pile with this get grounded in reverse is not going to be very receptive or happy about this whole attention thing, because it could overwhelm them. But I don't want you to be reclusive or isolate. Okay, so this is, some of you will resonate with the idea of literally getting grounded. Others of you have to prioritize yourself, but also not forget about these people, because, or if you feel like they are, if you want to give them their energy, that's okay. If not, you can instate boundaries. But plots in here, it's like people missing you. Okay, I also felt like with the Seven of Cups, Five of Pentacles is a lack card, so I feel like people would want to destroy the obstacles that make it impossible for them to reach out to you, or make it impossible for you to give energy to them, or it's as if there are some limitations on the amount of interaction that they get with you. I get with this pile a very subtle sense of adoration, but this pile is like, I don't have time for that, or I'm too... The get grounded in reverse could indicate that you are in a very raw, emotional, let's say, for some even triggered state. So there is a whole great deal of things going on in your surroundings in regards to plots. Almost as if with this Queen of Wands, people are a bit hesitant, but they are ready to pursue you. They are ready to reach out. They are ready to look out for you, because this figure in here is like ready to, like, it's someone who's obviously calling out for someone, or wanting to reach out to someone. Santa Muerte is going to be the death card, so it's as if people would want to accelerate. Okay, and I must say also, this is quite curious to find in your reading, specifically because out of all the messages, this is what came through. So that means it's a very intense and on top of everything kind of message. Also with plots, I'm very delighted to say that with morals, it's either that person or a group that really wants to establish something that is very, let's say, honest and evenly distributed in a relationship. It means that with morals, we should have a case with plots where people are not doing them in or from a shady standpoint, or it's like the opposite of the Seven of Swords, where people not even are like sincere to the point of being naive, but they are honest. They are like evenly accepting, like 50-50, you know, you take the 50% and I take the 50. It's like an even interaction of sorts, where people want everything to be equal, or they want you and them to be in a relationship where everything is being distributed in a very fair way. But with empowerment in reverse, with get grounded in reverse, there are some sort of situations, obstacles, and circumstances that prevent that free to go access to you. So I don't know what's going on with you, pile number one, but it feels like something is making people want to get more of you, but it's not quite possible. The process is not as deliberate, and it feels like something about you guards you from fully opening up. So it's not a message to say that it's wrong, but it's definitely something I can feel and channel through for the pile number one. And also with the Seven of Cups, I wanna mention in here that this is not uncertain energy. This the people's plots about you, regardless of it being romantic or not, this is not something that's non-decisive. This is not something that's hesitant. People are very determined, especially with the Death card and the Queen of Wands. It's like the decision from their end is already, or has already been made. Seven of Cups is a card of illusion or choices for me personally, and I feel like this is not talking about, you know, necessarily illusion, but with it being in reverse, we have certainty. So it's as if people are very certain with their plots. It's being filtered through a plot of sorts, where they are willing, or they have plans to initiate contact, or they try or will try to actually establish a very consistent contact with you. Whether you like it or not, I don't know. Not sure if this pile is really enjoying this, especially with the get grounded in reverse, but I don't know, maybe you are doing something that's more like, let's say, of a personal activity, or you live a very, let's say, separate lifestyle. If not, then it could be that you are not necessarily opening yourselves up to the people. But there is a lot of yearning with this pile, and this is not sugarcoating. This is not like me trying to exaggerate, but we literally have in here missing an empowerment in reverse plus security, which falls to me into the category of desire. So it's like people are a bit like, this is a plot, and I want to say this is not necessarily action based. The readiness for action is there. With pile number one, people's readiness is there. It's very certain. It feels like pile number one is, it's fascinating. It's as if you are blossoming, or you are in a process of something. And it's like, you know, people are in a state or in a place where they're much more certain, because they're not necessarily working on something that you are working on. And this fascinates me, to be honest, because there is a whole great deal of interest being projected onto you. And it's the few instances, I don't know, maybe it's because of my mood, I don't know, but this is fascinating because we have morals. This is a very good card, especially with plots, because the subject for me came through as, let's say, I wanted to make it intriguing, but at the same time I realized that plots can usually be interpreted in not so light and fluffy ways, you know, but morals. So it's like the plots in here are, to some extent, having a quality of being pure and quite honest and even, like 50-50, as I said. So this is quite fascinating. We also have a figure in here in the Get Grounded card. From the background, it's as if you've got eyes watching onto you, but we also have groups of people with their plots. It's a more of a fantasy lane type of thing. They respect your distance, but they feel a bit constrained, or reduced or minimalized by your boundaries. Something very wondrous, something very Also fascinating and adoration. This is coming through with this pile. With plots, it's as if people would be plotting to make a deal of sorts with you or the circumstances or with the universe itself, metaphorically speaking, where they would want to have you around more, at the same time not push your limits and not scare you off. Something about this pile also is very refined and perceptive. You could be very aware of what's going on by nature or by virtue of being so like highly sensitive. But with plots, yeah, I feel like security, people want to get to a point with you again, regardless of it being romantic or not, where they can have you around, they can interact with you, they don't have to feel, or they don't have to make you feel scared, and they want to be around to secure this consistent interaction with you. And it would upset them greatly if you are to disappear. Like, this is a message with missing card. It would be such a shame if you just left. That's literally what's coming through. And especially we have lack cards. This is the 5 and the missing and the empowerment. So definitely, I don't know, this is coming through like as an advice, or like because you're like, it feels like some of you could be resonating with the idea of being very connected, or every one of you actually, with people around you. It's like, give people hint of a chance. You don't have to. This is not something I'm gonna urge you to do, but there is like a heart message coming through to be soft. Not saying softer, because maybe you are really soft, but to let people a bit closer, in such a way that you can feel safe. Okay, feel safe, feel satisfied, feel as if you are, and literally respecting both your boundaries and the people's boundaries. But there is fascination, there is adoration, there is curiosity, there is interest with you. And I would hate the circumstances to blindly or unconsciously create obstacles between people and you, because it feels like you have something very beautiful to give, and you don't have to give it. Like, literally, this is not the type of message, but like, for the proper message to go through, I'll give you the metaphor of when a flower is blooming, why would you keep it in a cellar? Or if a flower is blooming, you'd want to make it seen by the world. So that's literally the energy I feel like it's about this pile. You don't have to be hidden, where literally it's as simple as and blunt as that. You're beautiful, and you should be on the world's, like, people should be watching you somehow. Like, this sounds so weird, but you got the message, okay? You should let yourself be seen by the world. Yeah, that's literally what I was trying to say. Okay, I feel like this is very fun. I love what I saw there. Okay, now this is going to branch off into two types of plots. The first one was the general dominant one, and we have the other two. We have in here the first card representing the plot, it being the aspirant. Oh my god. It's ambition, diligence, and setbacks. This is in reverse. The type of the plot is going to be the temperance. Now this is very fun and interesting. The aspirant, again, same message going through, but seemingly it filtered itself out in a different form. Aspirant and keys being represented in here, it's not a coincidence, it's people wanting to come closer. Okay. With ambition in reverse, it's a very, very abundant level of ambition and desire, not saying like in a bad way, desire and ambition together in like a passionate mix of sorts, where people want to initiate contact, they want to know you, they want to get to know you better. Diligence. There is a plot of sorts where they are not sure whether it's worth it or whether you're going to reciprocate. They question whether it's worth it because it feels like the situation is very uncertain, but you have people genuinely interested in you, and also we have setbacks. So it's like people are right now facing some sort of setbacks in their current circumstances in regards to their desire to pursue you, or in regards to the desire to make something happen with you. If this is not romantically, if you're not interested in romantic stuff, we can talk about it being just people generally wanting to get to know you better, friendly messages, friendship wise, acquaintances, potential for best friends, potential for social expansion in that way. Okay. Now the type is very interesting. The type of the plot is going to be the temperance. So it's a very slow-paced way or manner to move in. And I'll get to the magnitude. The magnitude is very blunt. You're not going to see a lot of people expressing this out or expressing this affection. Yeah, literally saw a comment just coming through. That's so fascinating. You're not going to see or feel the bluntness. People are withholding their reactions from you, okay? They really do, but their determination in your pursuit, they are very blunt about it to themselves, okay? You'll have to take my word on that. But the ways or the type of the plot is going to be a temperance card type of the plot. Means that their plans, their plots, or their plot in that way is going to be very slow-paced, is going to be very attuned to the process itself, to you, to their feelings as well. And yeah, generally the temperance card in the type in here feels like a message of I'll sit there and watch and basically assess the situation, how they feel, how I feel, and decide whether and what's like the next most probable and successful move forward. I also want to say with the type, it's as if people would want to make chores with you. It's like just hang about, hang around, hang out with you. That's the energy I feel like literally coming through with this temperance card. Now, the reason and the why is going to be greatly very interesting. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. Now the why, you've managed to trigger some very interesting, let's say, regularities within the collective of the people who are trying to pursue you, because with the Wheel of Fortune, they perceive you to be a very valuable choice, a very valuable relationship, and something that comes into their life very, very, very rarely. This is like a very rare interaction, a very rare chance of, like, pile number one, we should really be careful with them, because this is a chance in a lifetime type of thing. I hate to say it lifetime, but something like to filter it into a more authentic message, because I really hate the general and very, yeah, whatever. It's as if people with the Wheel of Fortune see you as a very good opportunity, a very rare opportunity, and they want to claim the relationship with you regardless of the nature of it being romantic, whatever. It's like with especially what I was talking about, intimacy card. We just want to be with you. I don't care the label. And it urges me to say that I'm quite envious of you because you have this energy, but to have a point where, first of all, you're not seeking a relationship, that's something that's very either random or very, very valuable and precious to possess. Second of all, you have people interested in in the nature of relationship that's quite literally, it's, they don't care, like they just want to be with you. Like, I don't know on how many levels I should be displaying this, but this is very lucky because when you have people stubborn on pursuing something romantic, it's usually when it's happening or it reaches its point of gratification, people lose interest. In this case, it's obviously and honestly the antidote. Oh my god, it's like the antidote for the situation. Okay. I aim for people wanting to be in my presence regardless of the status, because I perceive that to be the most, let's say, infinite or safe and healthy space to be in. So in a friendly way, I want to say congratulations, and also whether it is that you did that consciously or you arrived at this point consciously or not, it's quite an achievement to see that as a key factor in folding into the read. Pile number one could be literally right now like saying, I have no idea what's happening because of this get grounded in reverse. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are actually clueless about this whole thing. But whether it is you're doing or not, I'm so happy for you. Teach me now, okay? Okay, the next thing that's going to be showcased is going to be the other plot, okay? And you have the Astronomer in reverse, Discovery, and Augury, okay? Now, with my vast English knowledge, I will have to retreat for a while to find Augury, what it means. I'll get back to it immediately, however, because it's very rare, but I do find new words and I have to look them up. Okay, now, okay, that's insane. Where should I even start? Now, this message is being channeled like there are so many, they branch in so many ways. I'm literally sitting here overwhelmed thinking, what am I supposed to do? And from which side should I start even? Because I feel like as I talk, one card starts to create a grand novel of sorts where I just have to read it out loud, and I'm like, I only have one voice, okay, and one brain right now. How can I channel everything all at once? The Astronomer and Discovery and Augury, it's like people found you in a very strange situation of sorts where they weren't looking for you necessarily, or they didn't know that it's possible for someone to embody some qualities that they truly want and yearn for, where it feels like even the most conscious ones or the most, let's say, stubborn ones on the subject of I know what I want to see in a person, in a friend or a lover, and they are caught off guard. With the Discovery in reverse, it's like they are scared because they saw something very valuable, and it's very unbelievable for a lot of them to find this just being squandered or lost in the process. And Augury is like the fate is very cruel that this person is not easily accessible. That's fascinating, okay? The plot is like to investigate, like this is fascinating. This is the first time I encounter this type of energy and message. People are a little bit confused, and the plot in here is to investigate. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is the first time I channel this type of energy. The plot is to investigate what the is going on. with the astronomer, it's almost as if with augury, it's like divination, or oh my god, you explode my mind right now. How am I supposed to work with this? Okay, and it's literally my fault. I voted for this, and right now I'm in this situation. Um, people run, people run for answers. This is like, this is like we are looking for insight, information. Some people are looking for information. Some plots about you are like, let's find more information about them. Let's ask other people about them. Let's ask about their backstory, biography, where they came from, their background, what's going on, who they are, and all of the stuff like that. And almost as if with the astronomer in reverse, it's like, are we a match? Are we able to brew something together? And also this, I will go to the type, which is the Fool in reverse. People find themselves quite not ready. Regardless of the romantic tint of the relationship, of the message, oh my god, relationship. People are just like, you have to do something. I have to understand what's going on. I have to research. I have to find someone wiser than me and ask about this person. Some of you have people literally going to other tarot readers or counselors, or I have energy in here of literally like, you will see how it resonates for you with a group of people you know. But I see a person realizing that they are overwhelmed. This is not you, this is the person I'm talking about. They are realizing this, and in the midst of the realization, they go for someone that they can trust, and they convey the message, and they say what's going on, and it's like, give me a solution to this. With a Fool in reverse, like, I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified to discern what's the proper way to go about this. The magnitude is the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, it's a very boundaries, keep you out, get out type of card. Especially the Scissors, it's like people consciously avoid, or sometimes with this magnitude they avoid you with for the sake of leaving you for later, because they have to investigate, they have to know you better, they have to understand what's going on, because this something about this is very triggering, and it's wildly unknown to them. It's something very new. I don't know what you are doing with people. This is on your conscience, but jokingly saying this is intense. And jokingly saying in the sense like this is on your conscience, but this is quite literally very intense as a message. Why? We have Jewel. Not dual, but Jewel. And the reason. What can I say? And I feel like we're regressing to the Wheel of Fortune message again. Jewel. What and why a jewel? Like, what would you do when you encounter a jewel? It's literally, you want to claim it. You want to... Now, of course, you don't claim it if it's not yours, obviously, but in this case, we have, again, my favorite analogy, a diamond in the rough. And this diamond in the rough with pile number 1, it's very refined. It's very, let's say, this is not a case where the gem is in a pile of something that's covering its glow. No, this is literally the case where you're glowing, okay, because we have this representation, and the boundaries around you are very strong, to the extent that there is an aura, or it's as if there is a, let's say, theoretically speaking, a ring of holy fire that protects that which you don't identify with. Now, people are scattered. That's what's urgent to say. Yeah, I don't know. Like, literally, I don't know what else to say about this pile, but this is very intense. And I find it hilarious because I'm just channeling all of this, and I'm like, ask me where this is coming from, and I have no definitive answer. And lastly, we have a central card. I felt like this is going to talk about like an advice or another center of the read, and wistful. And I was looking this up again. This whole description for this word, and let me read it to you because I find it absolutely amazing how it's literally everything I've been talking about in this reading about you and about people's plots and realizations about you. Not realization, but you got the point, okay? Wistful, full of longing or yearning, sad and thoughtful. Yeah, I feel like I've already covered this. Like, I have no words, no comment. This is longing from people and yearning, and this is to such a powerful extent that it throws people out of balance and they want to go for a retreat of sorts where let's find out what happened. Okay, it's like now in the advice it could be maybe that this pile as well could have yearnings and desires, but more so I feel like this is hilarious that I find a resonance again in exactly what I was talking about in regards to the people. It's like very close to home card, and it's very ironic because I didn't know the word, and upon discovery it's literally everything I've talked about just a moment ago. Now I feel like this is all. To me it's fascinating how this pile is honestly a bit clueless, and some of you are clueless to ignorant, and not in a bad way, and I feel like this is also a virtuous kind of clueless because you're not necessarily like intent on profiting off of this, but what's going on with plots around you, it's from hilarious to scandalous to fascinating and quite the adventure. The reins on people, like they hold their reins very tightly when it comes to the subject of you because they don't want to come off as explosive, rash, and basically ruin the whole thing, because the approach relative to you has to be very deeply thought through and also very refined and noble in a way for you to even look at them, you know. That's what I feel like it's about this pile as well. So that was all pile number one. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I definitely did, as you can see. If you liked what you saw, if it resonated with you and it helped you out, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and for those of you who want to donate, go ahead, do that if you want. Donations are not expected, but they're always appreciated. Thank you so much for everything. Take care. Okay, moving on to pile number two. You have this round earring, okay, as well as the Trust the Niggle card in the middle. It says in here, what is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Okay, in regards to the plots, so this is going to be the first part of the reading where I'm going to be delving into the general plots or plans or intentions, but generally plots, okay, of people. Now with the first card, what I feel very drawn to say, it's as if people right now weigh on the possibility of opening up to you. There is with this trust card, the plots specifically in your regard are to basically see how well can they interact with you and how much they can trust you, because I do consider here with this card a lot of benefit or a lot of, let's say, shocking or very interesting wisdom and insight. I was actually trying to say insight at first. So the plots, it's as if you possess some sort of information that is very eagerly desired to, like, it's very eagerly desired, or it's desired to be to communicate. It's a desire to communicate with you and to actually find out what's going on and how what's the best way to ask you for some sort of advice, you know, because we have in here ameliorate. I also do have a feeling with this pile as if with the Six of Wands, they would be considering themselves triumphant with something that you possess. It could literally be your advice, your knowledge, your inside presence. It could also be. Again, we have the entrance card, which reminds me heavily of the VIP zone type of analogy I gave in another reading. So the plots for people in here are very interesting because they are, well, let's say predictable, because they revolve around some sort of personal gratification or personal gain. And something about pile number 2 is being perceived as highly valuable, desirable, and also needed on their team. I must also say that with its absence, we have the immunity card in reverse. So it's as if people are plotting something about you or something involving you where it would grant them some sort of immunity. We also have the cover card moving beyond, so it could pertain, the information could pertain to some sort of progression or movement forward. So it's as if, you know, the metaphor would be of a team who really needs and desires you to be on their team, basically, for the sake of the overall progress of the whole system. You are essential. That's what I feel. This pile is like the both cherry on top as well as a resource which is very highly valued. Okay. The cherry on top again comes through with the world card because it's like the completion. It's the end, the celebration of sorts, and also the Six of Wands, it's about that. So I don't know, something, again, this pile, you possess some sort of perceived value that is guaranteed by the virtue of you being present there or in their team. So it's as if there is a smart move in here to get you on board. Could also be the case that people are not necessarily revealing how much they value you, okay? Also, we have in here the Six of Pentacles. So the plots in here could revolve around also, they could be like monetary wise, financially wise, something about you brings success and prosperity. If this is work related, definitely could be about something of a contribution that you can give, and it can severely impact the overall function, okay? Seemingly also I get a feeling with this pile as if literally with the VIP it could mean that also with the rug card you are seen as having some sort of skills or abilities or talents that are usually not so you know, they are very rare. That's what I'm trying to say in here. And but also there is a layer of secrecy around how much you are being praised or how much recognition you presumably have to know of, or it's as if, you know, there is a toning down that happens in here for the sake of you not letting it get to your head, something along the lines of this, which is quite honestly very strange. But I do see in here a lot of people not praising you for your excellence, okay? And also the plots in here could revolve around them keeping you on this very much so reminds me of a work situation for some reason. So definitely it can be from this domain. There is the page of cups, so it's as if people would try to basically undermine you with the excuse that maybe you're not ready for it, or you're not ready for the responsibility, whatever. This is very strange. However, when it comes to the function, it's like you are the rug in here, which is, for me, the rug associates, I have like luxury associations with that, because I've heard that the first rugs were very expensive and they were a symbol of prosperity. So it's as if you are an essential part of the team. However, the recognition for that is not going to be necessarily out there, and it's not going to be necessarily vocalized, which is very strange, to be honest. But definitely, if this is not work related, it's something about your impact in the social domain, which is very hidden. But when it comes to the part of exploiting it, it's not so hidden, and people take all of the royalties. Like, that's the energy I can feel coming through. And also with the nurture in reverse, it's as if you are being called to, with this message, to nurture your self-worth, or to nurture your own sense of how well I'm appreciated for what I do. Okay. Interestingly enough, I do sense a sort of an ego battle in here, where people are trying to desperately prove themselves by the nature, or by the action of basically trying to undermine you, which is kind of disgusting, to be honest, but that's literally what I'm seeing in here. And there is a lot of secrecy, unfortunately, also directed at this pile, but don't worry, I'm gonna expose it all to the best of my abilities. Also, what is very good news for you, pile number 2, if you chose this and it resonated with a work situation, I want to say that you are being seen as someone who will very much so go very far. Why am I saying that? It's because of the world card. The world card for me signifies like a very leadership position, or the world, where it means like its literal completion. It could represent a promotion of sorts, or a promotion or a situation where you are ascending the career ladder in most surprising and unexpected ways. And it's as if the responsibility that you are carrying, or you will carry, is going to speak in and of itself about your reputation. So it's as if it's like a message of don't worry, or don't stress too much over it, that sooner or later you're going to be recognized for who you truly are. So it's definitely like, don't even look at this page of cups thing or message that, currently people could be trying to underestimate or to undermine you, because I feel like the virtues of yours are going to speak by themselves. In the situation, you won't even have to open your mouth. Also, with ameliorate, there is a quality of, like, the ameliorate card, of course, it's like a very healing card for me. And whatever operation, situation, or general intervention you're presented with, it's you ameliorate it. So it's like, amelioration for some could mean a closer step to success. For others, it could be you literally bringing more clarity and solutions to the table. So definitely a very much so workspace or success career related message coming through, and it's very much so mixed with people's agendas and insecurities, and you feeling as though you are not as high in the career ladder in their perspective, or they are your higher ups, but with some key indicators or key achievements, you are a very good rival, if not like a winner in their eyes, at some attributes that would qualify you to be their higher-ups. So I can definitely sense this going through, but this is highly guarded, like a secret, okay? So if you've had situations where your higher-ups, managers, whatever, tried to consciously, constantly, and deliberately belittle you or try to find fault with you, and you perceived it to be as very irrelevant, strange, and out of the blue or out of place, it could literally talk about intimidation or them feeling as though, you know, you do have stuff that would qualify you to be more successful than them. So it's a very threatening thing, and it's also a very highly guarded, highly confidential information, let's just put it this way. Also with the world card, you don't know it, like you don't necessarily expect it, but there are a lot of things that will redeem you. A lot of things will happen which are going to redeem you in ways in which you won't even expect. I feel like this pile is going to be in a position of the Six of Pentacles, where you could literally be in a situation where you won't even care. You'll be so abundant, or already you could be so abundant that you won't even care, or you could be occupied with something that you're so passionate about that it could literally it cannot affect or bother you. So in plots, however, I want to say this is coming through as energy of envy, energy of comparing themselves to you, of protecting the status quo and their identity, and the fear of you possessing or presenting something that is of greater quality and value than they do. So yeah, it's like also a very strange but predominant feeling of keeping you in the fog, while at the same time, as I said precisely at the beginning, trying to use you for your capacities, faculties, and I desire to use you at full. Like, I wouldn't hesitate to investigate more with this pile. Like, if I were you, I would investigate. However, I can't do that, like, in the ways in which I can, and it's actually available to me. But I want to say, definitely ask yourself and awaken yourself into the possibility that you are more valuable than you realize, socially wise, friends, people, family, whatever, and work related, for those of you who resonate with that message. Okay, so I would definitely go at work and ask myself, literally the question, how crucial overall am I actually playing in here? And if I were to be a stranger who would observe my impact upon this workspace, would I consider myself, how valuable would I see myself? And usually from that detachment you could find some insight in the whole situation, by the reason being that you basically detached from it. Okay, so it's definitely plots of concealing your value and worth, which is very sad for me, but I guess it's a phase and you'd have to go through it and wait a bit, because it will all come to an end. The truth about your value will be undeniable at some point, because yeah, it feels like we will be talking about milestones as well in here. Okay, nothing to worry about. Okay, so now we have the general. Now we'll go into the two sections. They're the same, but we'll have two dominant plots. One card for the plot, one card for the type of the plot, one type for the why and the reason of the plot, and third card will talk about magnitude. Okay. For the first plot, we have the plot being represented by the adventurer, responsibility, and expectation. Now, what I find fascinating about this, it's the fact that it feels like people's plots could revolve around having fun with you, or this is also talking about a romantic message of people wanting to be closer to you. This is the adventure. So the adventure, it's something of a card where it talks about exploring new horizons, and responsibility, expectations, something about you is unknown. Again, this is very interesting because it resonates with pile number 1 as a message, but you can definitely check it out if you want. But again, it's a message of we want to know pile number 2 more, and it's like getting to know you on a personal level, and also getting to know what you like and don't like, because with this mountain in here, or volcano actually, it's like the potential. The eruption hasn't yet happened, but it's a feeling like it will, or there is like a huge desire to get to know you better. This is going to be, as I said, the plot itself. Now, the type is going to be the sun. So the sun, it's a very open, it's a very joyous card, especially with this representation. So the plot type, it's, I cannot say it's a malicious one. One that was malicious or a bad intent was there in the beginning. However, this one feels like it's a more on a social type of a note scale. We want to get to know pile number 2's preferences, desires, directions in life, and how and what they like to do for fun. That's the energy I get. It's a very casual energy. I'll get to the magnitude, which is going to be represented by the rapper and the stallion. So it's like, I don't know, your social life out there could be very, very colorful, active, or vital. I don't know, that's what's coming through. But the reason for the why, we have 7 of Swords. That's very interesting. It could be the fact that you are maybe possessing a character that's, let's say, more silent, concealed, or you're not necessarily out there with your expressions, that make people feel really pulled, intrigued, and wanting to get to know you better. That's what is coming through, because definitely it reminds me of the Hermit card. But 7 in here could also be about you trying to be in control, where literally you could miss out on a lot of fun with the adventure card. The plots in here are so like funny because they're childlike in nature, so it could be people genuinely like, this is such a different energy from the beginning reading or beginning message. The first part was definitely, let's say, deeper or much more grave than this one. It feels like this time pile number 2, is much more, let's say, intent on keeping the boundaries, shutting the doors and the gatekeeping with people. And there is a lot of excitement, there is a lot of desire, there is a lot of like interest in basic conversations with you, basic interactions with you, with the adventurer. And like, the rapper definitely reminds me of a lot of communication, back and forth communication as well. So it could be that, people's plots are people's conspiracies and plots are about finding them finding a way to make you get outside or make you hang out with them. Like, this is very interesting. Also, nighttime, it's very relevant in here with this pile for some reason with the plot. It's as if people at night definitely think a lot about you, and this could be social, like very light. It could be romantic as well, as I said, but this is a very like light theme, or let's say light message in here. And it's definitely like people trying to find a way to lure you out. I don't know, this is a very strange but funny message at the same time. Now let's go to the another type of the plot. We have in here the Witch, and it says in here experimentation and rebellion. This is going to be the card which represents plots. The Y is the type. is going to be the Page of Wands in reverse. Also, we have the Magnitude, which I find very interesting, is being represented by the blank card and the Ace of Wands clarified, and the reason is target. Okay. Now, there is an overlapping message coming through saying either you are practicing some sort of magic thing in here, either it's talking about your overall mysterious nature, or it could literally be the case that, oh my god, I tangled the words so much. You could be practicing something, you could be into spirituality, or you could be of a very mysterious nature with the witch. The witch, it's as if people want to get closer and they want to get into an intimate circle. They want to be considered like your best friends, the most trusted person, whatever. Like, this is the plots side in here, which is very interesting. I find it quite interesting and amusing, to be honest, because the witch card, for me, aside from it being very spiritual, for some reason it channels itself as of now being very, we want pile number 2 to trust us, so that's definitely very interesting. The type is going to be represented by the Page of Wands, so this is very strange to have in the reading, because it's again a character card. Okay, I'll get back to it immediately, but I want to say the reason why with the target, it's like people have made like a very concise plan when it comes to how much or what they want to achieve by having interactions with you. So it's like you are someone's target, you are someone's, let's say, objective, or you're someone has you on their pedestal as like in a desire to actually pursue you and win you over. So you're seeing like a trophy of sorts. This could be talking about also with a page from the type you having a secret admirer. Okay, this is also the case where the Page of Wands could be a messenger. In reverse, it's like people are withholding information about how much they want to be close to you. Yeah, that's what's coming through. And with the witch, it could be the case that you're literally just minding your own business, and it's just like an occurrence that people want to get closer to you. The Magnitude in here, it's very conflictual because of the blank card, so it's like it could be both chaotic at times, and at times also it could be very like non-existent. It could exist, but you know, it's literally, to clarify, it could mean that you could have secret admirers, but they don't show themselves up. But when they do show themselves up, they could be very unpredictable, and you can't really catch off the feelings or the message that they are into you. And thus we have the Wands card, the Ace, so it's like in reverse, so it's a missed opportunity. I want to say in here, because I've drawn 2 cards as an advice or as a general, again, additional message. You have Beaver and Firm. So the message I came up with was for you to stand, or for you to consciously ask yourself, how valuable am I? Okay, so this is the case for you to be more clear in that direction. This message pertains to the first part of the reading, but I want to say there is a lot of, for some reason, cleaning that must be done, and because there is a lot of fog. Fogginess comes through from the first card with Trust the Niggle. It's as if we also have an overabundance of the Knight cards and only one Sun card, so that's like the Adventure with the Dark Sky 7 in here, which classically also speaks about nighttime, and also this very dark, mysterious, like as I said, center card and the Witch card. Yeah, a lot of dark themes in here, which is not bad necessarily, but it's as if there is a call for some sort of clarity. It's also interesting because your admirers, or with the sun card in here, your friends, or the people that genuinely appreciate you, who genuinely appreciate you, have a greater understanding of your virtues, qualities, and they appreciate you much more than you appreciate yourself. For some of you, this is a very strange message, but still it's coming through. And also, what I wanted to add with the target card, those of you who are going to say stuff like this in the comments, that you don't think that people pursue you, whatever, this is quite the contradiction, because with the target, it's a very stubborn energy. So especially with what I was talking about previously in the adventure, like the previous plot, um, you seem to be encountering or having a blind spot relative to how much people actually value or want to be around you, to the point where it can interfere, and you could find yourself out of situations where you could otherwise like desire to be in, where people would interact with you or they would socialize, and you'd find a lot of social gratification, if that's even possible as a word, as a concept. But I want to say there is something about this pile trying to maybe be a bit more reclusive than necessary, and I find myself so much into this reading. But Seven of Swords, it's like, don't necessarily try to find immediately what's wrong or the worst case scenario with people, because it feels like literally people just are like curious, or they try to get to know you, or they want to know you on a very personal level. So definitely, I'm not saying what's right and wrong, but if you feel like you want this, feel like you would accept this, and you'd have a yearning for this as well, then I would highly advise you to be more open and friendly, and also keep boundaries, but at the same time try to give people chances. So it's interesting because this message also um, came through with pile number 1, and it's also a message that's being repeated in pile number 2, which is very nice, however. And yeah, I think that's all for pile number 2. It was like relatively foggy in the first part of the reading. However, in the second and third plots, we did have some clarity in here in regards to pursuit, love, and attraction towards you. Okay, and quite stubborn attraction, let's say, in here, especially with the target, as I said. Okay, so that was all pile number 2. If you enjoyed the read, please consider liking, commenting below that you're pile number 2, and subscribing to my channel if you're not already. Reminding you that you could also donate. Donations are not expected, but they are always appreciated, and thank you so much so far for all of the support provided to me. Thank you so much. Take care. Okay, now y'all, pile number 3. Whose boundaries did you invade? And I'm not saying it because it could sound like it's a bad thing, but why I find myself so many times into the read, I don't know. But now this sounded completely out of the whatever, but I'm not implying that you crossed a boundary necessarily. Something about this pile, you have created a plot, someone created a plot to not distance, but to step back, because it feels like you've got too many keys, or too much access to something. Okay, that's hilarious for some reason, because I, for example, why I resonate with this message, because I can be very perceptive. I must confess that I've had a period of time where I read people so much that I confirmed to myself that I'm accurate. And I've had instances where people, rarely, but they did close off because perhaps what they said was too intrusive. Despite my intention of not being necessarily so. With the intention of this first card, someone crafted a plot to basically somehow try or want to evade you, because you have got something very threatening to them. I will not go into the direction of the message where I will say like you've made something wrong. I will not specialize in that channeling, but it could pertain actually to the integration and diversity. You could have said something also to someone that was shockingly true. They were not ready. It's as if I get this information that someone has been asking for an answer to a question. You showed up, gave it to them, and they were quite shocked. Because we also have the uncomfortable, the selfish, and sock, which I initially wanted to read as shock. Okay. Um, very interesting, very, very hilarious, because we also have the magician. People's plots, and also this is going to be a collective reading, not about one person in specifics, but I want to say you have something that is innately creating a feeling or a situation where where people feel revealed, okay, in a very uncomfortable way. This is also talking about some of you being able to read people so well that it's actually scary and it's actually being seen as supernatural. uh, Nine of Cups talks about some sort of personal, let's say, space or personal comfort or boundary or contentment, but it's more so an egotistical contentment, because it's not the 10 of cups. Why you want to say 10 of swords? Leave me alone, okay? um where was I? So it's like the feeling of, with a 9 of cups, you kind of see through people's egos, and you could be a very talented person, especially at seeing people's shadows and looking into them, looking into their eyes, and seeing everything as it is. No um, shadows, no hidden stuff, okay? No, people cannot shield themselves, okay? That's the energy I get. And also, you do have qualities of a healer in here. So I don't know, this is so random, but I find it fascinating how this pile can be at times, if like it can be at times and more, but I want to specify God sent. Okay, you have very significant cards in here that would imply you are God sent. Why? Because the key is and also the sock. The sock for some reason in here would indicate that at times or initially you could come off as concealed agent of the divine. um, but why concealed? It's as if you are meant to bring people's guards down, and the synchronicity, it's also like reiterating the God sent, divine sent person. You have the key card, the integration, synchronicity, the lightning in here from the no card. What else? Let me give myself a moment. And also at the bottom I saw there the shadow, the door and the shadow in the magnitude. So it's as if we're currently creating or gathering a set of a very spiritual message coming through. But the plots in here, I want to say the plots, this is hilarious, but the plots created in your regard are on a very, let's say, primal level. And when I say primal level, it's like it's very triggering. People's plots are to move their location, to quickly evade, and to quickly evade specifically the truth. That's what I'm feeling is the case with this pile. I don't want to go, and I will not go into the message of the boundaries, because it feels like it's a very dry one for some reason. And it's not the reason why I'm here channeling all of this, but Uncomfortable truths, I want to say, because they are on a primal level, the actual plots in here, this is only the first stage. I find sock and nugget cards, and even with the first time I took them, I was like, this is highly irrelevant. I don't want to delve into this. I want to change the cards. But now I see it as for what it is actually. I see in here a facade or like a deliberate way of hiding you in the plain sight. That's hilarious, but that's true. You are as if you are injected, and this message is more so about spirituality, not the plots. But the plots for you is like, there is divine plot in here. So whatever, if you identify as being spiritual, whatever, you are a part of something greater than you actually realize. And here, this is definitely coming through. And there is a point in this pile where people could lie to themselves to such an extent. I'm talking about the others, where it's time for you to step in and to be like this clash of lightning in here with this no card, and people have no conscious, deliberate ways to actually shelter themselves from the truth. Not saying that you are like this divine truth bringer or whatever, because this feels too much of a dramatic message for me. To bring common sense, I want to say you could be someone who says everything that's on their mind. You say things directly, you say the truth, you see authenticity even better than the rest, and you're definitely placed in especially the right circumstances where the situation feels like it's very dire. I also want to add up to the idea that people's plots in regards to retreating present themselves with the possibility or the action, once they are settled and calmer, to actually give a second round or a second thought to the things that you said to them. And I find this to be fascinating because it's a very violent no at first with pile number 3, but once people get to know you, the plot seemingly changes itself, changes its direction. It's a completely reversed direction. I want to say the whatever, I forgot, never mind. Four of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, you awaken people's emotional side, and especially you, something about you is teaching an example. Okay, so it's like you're a walking example of, or a walking inspiration for people. Okay, King of Cups in reverse, it's like, you bring stuff that's buried deep in the subconscious of people. I don't know how you do that. I want to learn as well. But with Nugget as well, I wanted to add the message of this pile could mention stuff. It's like tiny, like also in disguise, tiny nuggets of truth, and also tiny seeds of truth or authenticity. Why they are tiny and why they are seeds, it's for you to not threaten people, or for you to not scare them and drive them away. But I definitely see and feel this pile as being very potent in the ways in which they can also reveal the truth but not leave the person in despair, and also leaving them with an actual opportunity, plan, or direction so that they can find their way out. Something about this also talks like, this reminds me of the concept of terraforming, or it's like you are literally molding. You are capable of molding someone's character, life direction, by nature of making them question their beliefs, who they are, what and why they are doing it. Okay, so it's like the magician in reverse again in here. Overall, I want to say people are too overwhelmed right now in the first phases to actually create plots, and their plots revolve around the primal aspect of evasion, escape, and avoidance. But the plots, however, in the long term, is to find you, and find the courage to actually change, or find the courage to actually join you on the journey of self-discovery and journey of getting to know you and them on a deeper level. Very interesting message. I wasn't expecting this, but yeah, we have it. Okay. With integration, I want to say also, you have people genuinely interested in your arts of healing. People genuinely interested, if not in that, in domains of your activity. I also feel like this pile is highly diverse with diversity, and it could also talk about people wanting to know you and to know your skills, so that this is coming through them wanting to be taught by you, because in how we have in here designer in reverse, this from the uncomfortable. I want to say this pile has a great character, a very deep character, and one that's truly worthy of creating and dedicating a whole book, a movie, or a whole biography to, like the richness that's coming through. But unfortunately, the plots in here with you are revolving around the world feeling overwhelmed by the sheer fact that they are not ready or mature enough to let you step into the table and into the table. Oh my god. You should really take care of the channeling part for this. Oh my god. I should have been more attentive with the words when I was channeling, because I tend to do that kind of stuff. But people are blinded by the sheer amount of their immaturity, and they are not being able to accept and reciprocate, receive you with your fullest of the potentials. This pile's potential, and when I say potential, it's like literally the possibilities for you are very, very great. They are very diverse. They are very out there. Like, you have a whole matrix of power. You have like a whole engine lying there, being ready to create new stuff and new ideas, but the whole world feels like they're not ready for it. Okay. And thus we have this gatekeeping with no cards, with wait, postpone, pause, and say no. Maybe it's not time, but we do have in here crown, so it's like crazy. It's like a crazy message to believe in your own magnificence despite the world not necessarily seeing it. And I don't want it to go into an egoic, let's pride ourselves into our abilities, but no, you should not assess yourself from the standpoint of strangers, or from the standpoint of people who are not able at their own level to justify or to understand your value on a deeper level. Okay, the next part of the reading is going to go into two separate plots that people had, or the information registered in your field. And the first card is going to be the plot itself, which is the runaway in reverse. It says in here, secrets running from problems. This is so much about the first message I was talking about, and it's in reverse. Inevitable came through. It's like you are inevitable. Yeah. When you clash with people and your truths, it's like, yeah, we feel naked. Like that's the channeled. We don't know where to even hide. Yeah. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, literally, you couldn't care. Maybe you don't care. But when I say stuff and I'm like, I'm sure 100 years will pass and there will be nobody to tell you this, so I'm gonna be the one, and I don't care if you feel naked. So yeah, on the watch for the revealing the deepest of truths, and not caring for how much impact this will generate, whether good or bad. But I tend to believe that, overwhelmed or not, people have to know the truth and judge me right now. Okay. Maybe you're the same. You could be the same, because I'm channeling this energy and I was reminded of it. So yeah, judge yourself, judge me. I don't know. This is ironic, because with the plot itself being the runaway and running away from problems, people having a plot to avoid you, to avoid their problems, and to specifically avoid the painful truths you have conveyed. Congratulations. It hurts because it's true. It's literally the case with pile number 3. Like, you said something, it was true, and people got annoyed. Yeah. What can we do? Like, literally. We're such a blessing on this planet. Like, saying the truth and then being ghosted. Is this the best you can give to us? Okay, where was I? The plot card, which is the runaway, was clarified with what kind of plot, the Queen of Pentacles. It's like the type. I want to also say this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, it annoys and triggers me. The plots with people's plots of on you or about you would be about extracting the best and the maximized value and potential out of your words without being vulnerable. Does this annoy me? The fact that people would extract value and basically just run away with it and ghost you? Of course it does. It does, and it drains me. But yeah, it happens. You see, in here with this person climbing this ladder, I don't like it, but I see a possibility of people using your insights to their own advantage and then leaving, running away, and not wanting to deal with you afterwards. This is cruel, but this is also coming through from the Nine of Cups. You could be dealing with people's plots who are very self-centered. You could be very much so aware of that, and you'd be saying like, that's what I'm working with. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Exactly the same situation as I encountered. Yeah, whatever. Is this actually a reading? Like, I feel like I'm ranting so much. Maybe you are someone who also needs to rant, so your comment section, it's all yours. Can't say I'm not affected by this reading as well, but yeah, maybe it should have happened, okay? Maybe it has a place as well. The magnitude, the door, and the shadow. The magnitude is very potent because we have the shadow, which I consider or associate with great power. It means that people's desire, intentions, and needs to actually maximize the profit off of you and call it a day are very much so strong. Especially with the door, which reminds me of a person leaving. Again, trigger warning, like this reading is definitely affecting me. But the reason which I find it to be quite fascinating, you have the Judgment in reverse. You are dealing with a caliber of people who are not being able to hold themselves accountable for their actions. They are not aware of the consequences of their choices, both upon themselves and the world around them. So I would feel like you are being faced right now with a lot of insensitive and quite annoying but true, like, yeah, it's insensitive people and people who are not able to see or feel the consequences for their actions and stuff they do. Okay, so that's literally the case. The runaway, yeah, it's like secrets running from problems. Yeah, I just had to read this again, but it's in reverse. So I would want to say that there is a spark of honesty. There is a spark of a true, pure, refined desire to be and to come clean to you and to admit that what you said is actually true. And I want to say also, there is a huge desire coming through this reading, wanting to remind you and wanting to crystallize all of the recognition, all of the validation that you see things very, very as they are. You're not mad, you're not crazy. People want to recognize it, but they are not at that level yet to hold accountability for it. So it's like, yeah, you have people genuinely sorry for the ways in which they would unconsciously exploit you, but it's not their desire to use you, but it happens, you know. That's the reality of it. That's what I'm feeling with this, like, Queen of Pentacles. Pile number 3 is very rich in insights. Pile number 3 is very fascinating and also very, very interesting to listen to. But we need information, we need to be and to take whatever it is that we want from them, and we leave. That's unfortunately the case. Could also be the case where this message or this reading is coming to remind you that you could literally cut people off of your life, no excuse, and no way back. This is like literally there is nothing wrong with that. And for some of you, it's like a confirmation that you are free to do it. It's like, go do it. Okay, that's the message. Another plot we have in here is the Merchant. Sale, worth, and trade in reverse. Again, the plot type is going to be emotional because we have in here the Ace of Cups. The plot in here with the Merchant in reverse, I do not like to say it, but I also sense trickery. And it could be from the emotional side. Be wary of manipulation in here, because with the Ace of Cups, you could be lured into either a relationship, an emotional exchange, or an emotional facade that is meant to create an exchange. Or this is coming through with like an emotional type of reading. Because also emotional, did I say emotional? I wanted to say romantic scale of the reading. And this could be talking from the magnitude of the King of Wands, being that people find you to be not only very intelligent with the things I have just mentioned, very truthful and very smart and sharp at displaying, giving, and showing the right way. It also makes you very attractive, and when I say attractive, you could connect the dots that the King of Wands is going on a more like physical level. Something about you being so brave is very attractive. Something about you being very aware is also being perceived as very attractive. And with the plot, it's going through as basically people wanting to go there and, you know, have a relationship with you. But I would be very, very weary of like shady stuff, because the Merchant in reverse could indicate an uneven interaction relationship or an unfair exchange. It being through or being welcomed in a very emotional, or it coming through the gates of the emotional sphere of life or emotional channel. Be very careful with your feelings. Be very careful with the ways in which people would try to get to know you better, or would try to use the channel of your feelings to earn your trust. Okay, the reason why we have the Fallen and blank. Now this is not very like it's as if this pile is, I don't like giving such messages, but it's being targeted for their success or brilliance. Okay, it's like you are specifically tested, or it's as if you will have some sort of awareness, or you must be already going through this awareness test where you're going to be thrown into relationships with the excuse of it being like touchy-feely with the Ace of Cups, but it's revealing the true nature of the person you're with later on, and the intention and the why, the reason. It's Fallen and blank. So I would be wary of very strange pulls, attractions, and endeavors that would disconnect you with your very keen perception and very powerful discernment. Okay, but I want to say And I also want to reiterate the last message with this pile. You have the crown card as an advice. You are a powerhouse. You are very powerful. You are very talented. You are very skilled, perceptive, and discerning. Don't let setbacks, people, and situations that would otherwise seem or look like failures or ghostings or people going away, not saying a thing, people mistreating you, as testimonies of your worth, because they are not, and they could never be. This could never be farther from reality. I want to also say that this came to me once I was traveling to a place. Let's say I was in a place where it was like a station of sorts, where like buses would basically like come and go to different parts of my country. And what I was scanning with my perception was people of all types that would completely not be able to see me. Like this YouTube channel, like the people who visit me on it and leave comments, you are the people I could be friends with in reality. Well, in that case, with the station thing and buses situation, I felt as if the caliber of people that surrounded me did not prove in like possibilities to actually see me for who I was truly. So it's literally this pile being also presented in situations where the last thing you should do is to find allies. So if you feel like you are not in the right party or you're not in the right setup to create a desired outcome because the resource of people or the circumstances is not right, don't make the situations or the people a cornerstone for your worth or for your testimony of who you are, because I would feel like this pile could get entangled in a lot of false perception, or it could be literally you tying connections with people who are not necessarily a reflection of who you are because of their limits. To be more clear, this is going to be a case where, for example, an artist could be born into a family of mathematicians. Now, you could literally and basically infer from this situation that the person who's artistic is not going to be perceived and seen for their true value in a family that values intellect over artistic expression. So that was the message that's coming through, and I want to say with the crown, it's exquisite value that you have. No failures, no immature behavior from people's end is going to be ever justified as a right way to treat you. I can't believe how resonant this message is about me. It's like it's a feeling as though I'm helping myself when I'm reading these to you. Okay, so that was all pile number 3. Regardless of the situations, remember to give yourself all of the validation and the recognition for the powerhouse you are. And I also want to say, what did I want to say? Oh no, it's like you have a great impact on people in general. You have such a powerful impact on people's lives that you break their mold. I think this should ring some bells to you. Like, you should be realizing how powerful you are, and you don't even have to take my word on it. Look for this yourself. Recall the changes you have initiated in yourself, and also trace them back to the people who were receptive to it, and realize the magnitude of your impact. It's not a case where I'm going to be drawing the cards and reminding you of it, because the best of the realizations are self-made. You'd have to scan your life and truly and honestly ask yourself, how impactful are you truly? And you should be objectively finding that you do have a great amount of impact, not even talking about the shadow, synchronicity, and divine agent. I'm just talking about the lives you've already touched and left an imprint on, plus how insane it's to actually mold and break molds in people's matrix of character, and you being capable of bringing solutions. You're very impactful. You should know this. Okay, that's all. Remember to like the video, it's very important to me. Comment, subscribe, make sure to check out my old videos as well, and if you consider donating, you could do that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. Don't forget your value. It's not even great or huge, it's actually infinite, and you'll realize what I'm talking about. Why do I sound like a crazy person? But it's bridging eternity. Your value is bridging eternity. That was something I was just channeling aside from the cards. Okay, take care. Bye.